The following is a presentation of SC State Athletics.
Back to court, gives it to Alex on the right side. Alex bounces it outside in the 40, turns the corner into 45, adds it to the field, into Oregon State territory. 25-20, 15-10, 5. Dixon breaks through the 40, 35-30. Johnny Dixon is 25-20, 15-10. Ronnie Dixon 5. Touchdown, Ronnie Dixon. He keeps it himself. Devontae got wrapped up and gets him on the turf. Welcome to the first open week edition of the Buddy Pough Show. As we talk South Carolina State football with Bulldog head football coach Buddy Pough. The Bulldogs have the weekend off, and coach, let me tell you, it's a good break after 3 tough games.
I guarantee you, anytime you're going through what we've gone through, it's a good thing for us. So we are working now to try to get ready so that we don't have to go through what we've gone through again. And I think we've got a chance to be a lot better down the road a piece.
Tell me about an open week, coach, because it's kind of like a bowl situation from that standpoint. I'm talking about being off, breaking up that routine. Yeah. How do you try to keep the routine kind of regular when you know you don't have a game at the end of the week?
Right. It's a bye week, and the first thing we do is we take a couple days off. We need to get away from each other for a couple days, and then from there we were back at practice on Tuesday morning. So we practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll go back and have another couple of days off this weekend, and then we'll get on our regular schedule Sunday. We'll practice Sunday, and then have Monday off, and then we'll have the rest of the week in practice.
When the Bulldogs get back in action, it'll be Bulldogs against Bulldogs, and how early do you start getting prepared for the Citadel? It's a big ball game, but you got 2 weeks to prepare.
Yeah, ordinarily, you kind of wait a week, maybe even go back to a camp-style kind of mentality, but we started practicing for the Citadel that Tuesday, and we've got to we got to figure out how to win a football game. And I love those guys down there, Coach Maurice Drayton and Danny Lewis, and all those guys on that staff are great friends. But they won't be coming Saturday in another week, so we got to figure out how to beat these guys.
You talk about great friends. They all coached for you at one time, and you talk about your coaching tentacles. We talked about them before. Mm-hmm. It is kind of neat, though, Coach, to see some guys who's coached for you on the other sideline.
These are really great guys, and I'm pulling for them, and I'm sure that eventually, they'll get it going. They're struggling too, just like we are, and we've got to figure out how to get in here and get a good football game going, entertain the fans, do what you do in college football, but at the same time, once it's all over, then we'll be hugging and kissing and all that kind of stuff again.
Mentally, Coach, as far as your team is concerned, where are their heads right now, and how do you try to rebuild their confidence going into this football game?
Not really all that bad. We are 0-3. That's never good. But our guys kind of understood, that this was a possibility. Anytime you're playing a level up and you got, the competition factor that we do, then that could happen. And it's happened some in the past. One of the guys talked about us in the conference call a couple of days. We were 1-5 going into our Celebration Bowl year. So, that's not so unusual for us. We just got to kind of keep our nose to the grindstone, work hard, and then get to our conference playing our best football.
All right, it's the first open week edition of the Buddy Pough Show. We're going to take a time out, and during these shows, we're going to do some different things. We're going to meet South Carolina State volleyball coach Melissa Robinson and actually talk some volleyball here on the Buddy Pough Show. We'll be back with more right after this timeout.
That's a firm serve for the Spartans. Maybe they can catch the Bulldogs out of systems. That pass a little too far. A great adjustment there by Upstate on the swing. It's off the block. South Carolina State will get the side out, leading 8-6.
Continue to capitalize on that with a very old veteran-esque roster.
The Spartans will now have to send a free ball across. And a great second touch by the Bulldogs.
All right, welcome back to the Buddy Pough Show. Normally we talk South Carolina State football. We've been doing a lot of different things this week. Right now we're going to talk South Carolina State volleyball with South Carolina State head coach Melissa Page. She used to be Melissa Robinson when she played at South Carolina State. Melissa, On the Buddy Pough Show, I'm going to say first off, welcome to South Carolina State. Talk about your journey back to Orangeburg.
Thank you. It's been a great journey back. I love the camaraderie. I love the family feel. I always love this environment. It's always good to be back home, you know, as an alum. So I'm excited to be here. I'm always taking every day like it's the last. So I'm just appreciative to be here.
Talk about your volleyball program and what it's going to take to get this program back to where it was when you played.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we need is just buying into the vision of our program. And right now we've been talking a lot about discipline, communication, and just being here in the moment. You know, seizing the moment, go after everything that we have, and just being aggressive. You know, those things for us are going to help us get to the next level.
You've seen volleyball at a very high level. What will it take for you to get this program back to a high level here at South Carolina State?
I think for one, just again, having that vision and everybody kind of buying into it, along with recruiting. You know, we want to get the best of the best to get them here, you know, on South Carolina State's campus and get them to buy into exactly where we're trying to go, especially, you know, being in the MEAC and just being, you know, aggressively, you know, successful.
The MEAC is a very good conference. Most people don't realize that from the standpoint of volleyball.
Yeah, it is.
Who are the teams in the MEAC that give you guys the most challenging problems on the court?
I think everybody for the most part right now. I think kind of who to look out for is, you know, Howard and Coppin State right now. They're kind of pushing some things forward for us. But I think as a whole, they've held the competitive realm for us, and it's kind of, you know, setting a bar for us and where we need to go.
It's been tough to get this thing going, and it's not an easy task.
Right.
What do you think your team needs to do from the standpoint of on the court to get to that next step?
Again, buying in and being disciplined. Doing your job is where it counts the most, and being disciplined in that. I think also too having the communication piece and also having the character piece, because that's big too. You know, you want people that are coachable. You want people that are buying in. You want people that have that composure when it gets hard. So I think those are the things that we kind of need, just kind of moving forward.
When you talk about South Carolina State and volleyball, of course, volleyball, people don't realize how important fundamentals are.
Yeah.
When you go out looking for a kid, what are you basically looking for?
We're looking for the intangibles first. You know, how are you responding to your coach when they're telling you information? How are you cheering on your team when they're down? You know, if you're up, how does that look for you? You know, we can coach the skill all day, but those are the small intangible things that you just can't get in every kid. So we kind of look for that.
Now, I can't get too technical with volleyball, but what about your style and what you hope to put on the floor from the standpoint of your rotation, that kind of thing?
So we're looking for aggressive players that'll go out there and just pound the ball. You know, we want those kills. We want a good offense that we have, and we want speed for defense. We want height, you know, but you don't have to have height. You can be a 6-foot player and still jump out the gym, but you can also be 5'8" and jump out the gym as well. So we look for those skilled players that are, you know, well-rounded fundamentally.
What drew you back to Orangeburg in this program? Because there were some tough years here at South Carolina State as it relates to volleyball. What drew you back? What was the attraction?
I think first and foremost, our administration. That has been really big for me, and just getting the help that we need, everybody kind of buying into our vision and what we want our program to be. I think that was the first thing that drew me back. And then secondly, of course, I went here. So, you know, I want to bring out the best that we can be and, you know, shine a light on where we could go.
You know, fundamentally, most people don't realize South Carolina State is a Division I volleyball program. There are a lot of programs out there. Not a lot of kids get to play Division I. That's special here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's priceless. You know, everybody wants that D1 experience, and we have it, you know, and we don't take it for granted. We go in, we bust our butts every day, we hold ourselves accountable, and we go through, you know, every single day like everybody else.
When did your season's in the fall? When did you guys start, and where are you on the season?
So we officially started August 25th, and we had our first 3 tournaments. So this week we're actually going to Charleston Southern for our last preseason tournament, and then we start conference play on September 25th.
So, and the season goes until?
It goes all the way until November. So we are going, our conference tournament is November 17th through the 19th. So we'll be in Delaware holding it down for South Carolina State.
Let me ask you this, after the season's over, your job doesn't start. When do you start going the recruiting trail, and where will you be where folks can see you if you got your South Carolina State gear on, that they can come up and talk to you and ask you about the program?
Absolutely, we are always around. You know, for us, it'll start back up in February, January-ish, when we'll get out and you'll visibly see us. But we're always recruiting around the clock. You know, we get tons of emails, tons of calls a day. So we're just making sure that we sift through and make sure we find the right Bulldog that we're looking for.
Coach Patriot, appreciate your stopping by and
Absolutely.
making an appearance on the Buddy Pough Show. We hope you won't be a stranger. We'll do something else in the days to come.
Absolutely. I'm always here.
All right, that's Coach Melissa Page, the head volleyball coach here at South Carolina State. It's time for the Prisma Health Injury Report. It's the open week, but the Bulldogs really got some battered guys going, Coach, into this open week.
We got a couple guys we need to get back. Zan Dunham, one of our outside linebackers, has been hurt some. He's got a sprained ankle. We got a good man of sprained ankle. Jordan Smith from Columbia has one of our wide receivers. Pat Anderson also has, one of those kind of high ankle sprains. And then Dallas Ford is out for a while too. So looks like we're going to get maybe some of those guys back in 2 weeks, but right now we got some guys on the shelf.
All right, that is the Prisma Health Injury Report for the open week for South Carolina State. I want to remind you folks that Food Lion's become a big sponsor of South Carolina State. Their Sack to Give Back program, and Coach, unfortunately, the last ball game we didn't have any sacks to give back, but when we do get sacks, Food Lion's are going to donate 1,000 meals for every sack, and that's pretty cool.
It is, and we got to figure out how to get some of this coming game, so hopefully we'll get a sack or two so that we can get some meals out there with the Food Lion plan.
All right, we'll take a time out here on the Buddy Pough Show. We'll come back with more after these messages. All right, welcome back to the Buddy Pough Show. Very special guest who's no stranger to South Carolina State football, and that is Derrick Greene. And Derrick Greene, this alumni organization, huge fundraiser and drive you guys have going on this week at South Carolina State. Tell us all about it.
Yes, we're having our annual membership drive where we get our members to renew their membership and to recruit new members into the chapter. We're the Greater Orangeburg Chapter, which covers Orangeburg, Bamberg, and Calhoun counties.
Now, how many folks are in the organization now?
Roughly a little over 200 currently. Our goal is to get it up to 300 this year.
Now, what's the goals of the organization as far as fundraising, those kind of things?
Well, what we do various fundraisers, but we support emergency needs, students who may come up a few dollars short to get back in school or to finish, their semester or something. We do emergency scholarships to them. We sponsor annual scholarships to students from Orangeburg, Calhoun, and Bamberg counties as well.
Well, of course, Derrick, you've been to South Carolina State. How long have you been to South Carolina State?
36 years.
Derrick, how long have you been a part of the organization?
I've been part of the Alumni Association for about a little over 30 years now.
How difficult, and I know it's difficult, to get people that are alumni to get involved?
It's just trying to get them to understand that membership has its privileges like anything else. By becoming a member of the local chapter of the National Association, you can affect change for the university because each member is a vote for your local elections and so forth. So when you have large voting blocks that can communicate the needs of the university to their local officials and so forth, it's a benefit for the university.
I tell people about the momentum at South Carolina State. It's a different atmosphere on campus. Now, talk a little bit about that.
The atmosphere is coming back to where it used to be, where we had alumni coming back year after year. We are gearing up. We have good ticket sales, but there's still tickets on sale for season tickets and for the upcoming football games. We have a lot of tailgating and stuff going on, a lot of excitement and so forth. The membership is up in the state club. The parks and stuff, we were in one of the historic fields here. I think it was the first RV spot that we had on campus for tailgating. And it's sold out here, and a couple of other ones are sold out already well for the season.
All right, there are folks out there watching, Derrick, and they want to get involved. How do they get involved?
You can get involved with your local chapter here, Orangeburg, Calhoun, Bamberg counties. You can see me or any of the officers here. We'll get you signed up. Or wherever you are, we have 36 chapters throughout the country. And then you get a member at large. If you're located somewhere where there's not a local chapter, you just want to be a member of the National Alumni Association, you can become a member at large also. I'm a former officer of the National Association as well.
All right, Derrick. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Physically imposing too, isn't she?
Absolutely. It can get up as well.
Absolutely.
Montine with a nice diagonal run out to the flats. Offside, says the referee. It looked like she ran around him to me.
Agreed.
But thought it was a good, well-timed run on her part. But not to the AR's liking on the far side of the field. And he's got the flag, so he wins. It's good running, good run there from Montine.
Absolutely. The good thing about that diagonal run to the corner is it forces the defense to make a decision. Do they let you run into the space and get possession, or do they follow you out and vacate the space they were defending where another player can run into?
Ball sends it over to Birch. Birch sends it wide, finds for goalie. Davis in support. Goalie takes it herself, goes back to Birch. All the way back. Jacksonville looks to reset. Burgessdaughter finds Kylie Wells, drops it back again. And the Bulldogs are just packed in. As you can see, all 11 players are packed tightly in their defensive third. A little too much there from Birch, there from Davis. Maybe she thought Montine was making that diagonal run in the back.
That's what I think was the case there. That was a bit hard and high for the short player to receive. Cam Davis wins it back in the midfield. The scrap for the ball.
She's done well since making her debut last year. Come in and made that position her own, really. New coach, new personality on the field. New personality on the field. Oh, Bulldogs send it through. Opportunity here. Carla Gordon.
All right, welcome back to this edition of the Buddy Pough Show. We're not talking South Carolina State football. We're going to talk some South Carolina State Lady Bulldogs soccer with South Carolina State head coach Liz Amanda Brown. And Coach Brown, welcome to the Buddy Pough Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Talk a little bit about where you came from the standpoint of your background and how you ended up in Orangeburg.
Well, I was raised in Florida and I play soccer since I was 14 years old. I've actually played at Charleston Southern University, so I'm pretty familiar with South Carolina and the area. I played against South Carolina State University while I was at Charleston, and I've heard this opportunity about becoming an assistant coach the previous season, last year, and so I decided that I wanted to come in and coach the girls, have a welcoming environment, make sure the girls are feeling like they are getting the training they deserve. From my experience, I've played professionally overseas, so I felt like I had that to give them.
So you start talking about South Carolina State and soccer. Tell me about your season, because most people, of course, everybody knows when football season is. Tell us about the women's soccer season. When does it start, and where are you now with that?
Okay, so our season actually started in August. We're pretty much in the middle of our season and we'll be ending in October. Our season didn't start at a great foot scoreline wise, but the girls are really working really hard. So we've had mostly freshmen and sophomores on our team, only one junior and one senior, so not much experience there. But I did bring over Coach Tony from Jamaica. She actually was the Jamaican seniors assistant coach, and so she has all the experience to help these young ladies grow into better players and giving them a lot of game theory. So we're not just teaching them just patterns and playing soccer by just kicking the ball and dribbling up to goal. We're giving them more of game theory, ideas, and development.
So South Carolina State is a part of the MEAC, but in soccer it's a different story.
Mm-hmm. In soccer, we're not in a conference right now. I think in the MEAC, they do not have enough soccer programs within the schools. So right now we're independent. We are looking to go into a conference, not sure when or where, but we're hoping that maybe the MEAC can actually, put more soccer programs. So maybe we can create a MEAC conference for the soccer.
Who are the folks on the South Carolina State women's soccer team that sort of stand out that, that you depend on?
Right now, Brooke Gloucester, she has actually scored a beautiful 40-yard goal in the Winthrop game. So you got to see a highlight of that. She did beautifully. She is the most improved, actually. From last year, you wouldn't imagine that she knew how to play soccer. To see her score a 40-yard goal, actually by breaking down the defense at first and then doing a little move to the side, oh man, we were so proud to see that happen. So it was really thrilling.
When you talk about a team and starting a soccer team, or should I say starting a soccer team, but taking over a soccer program, what are the basic things that you're trying to instill in your team? Because, of course, wins probably are tough to come by, but what are you trying to get across to this team?
Right now, we have our core values. One of them is adaptability. So adaptability in all aspects of life. So adaptability of all the circumstances that happen, all the unfortunate circumstances to just push through. One of them is also grit. We have discipline, accountability. So we're instilling those kind of values into the girls to make sure that they just don't carry it in soccer, but in life as well.
You mentioned recruiting, and recruiting is still part of any collegiate sport. Talk about recruiting and what you're looking for in case there's some young ladies out there who are interested in playing college soccer.
I'm looking for girls who really are ready to work hard, ready to put everything for the team, 100% for the team, because we as coaches we're going to be there 100% for the girls.
All right, thank you, Coach Brown, for your time.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take a break here on the Buddy Pough Show. When we come back, we'll have more South Carolina State football and more news around South Carolina State right after this timeout. All right, welcome back to the Buddy Pough Show. Coach, it's always good to kind of spread the news as far as some other things going on. People, of course, associate you so much with South Carolina State football, but there's a whole lot more going on campus.
You're exactly right. There are all kinds of neat things going on. We've got membership drives and all kinds of stuff. We got blood drives. Anything that you can have that you can actually put on a show like this, I think would be a great deal. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of our other sports as we go through the rest of the season and have another open week.
All right, the Bulldogs got the Citadel coming up, Coach. You know Maurice Drayford, you know this team, you've seen this team. Tell me a little bit about the Citadel and what you're going to have to do.
Coach Maurice Drayton's football team is going to be sort of option that maybe, if you can remember what Air Force looks like, not quite the option that we had in the past, but still some of that kind of stuff. You got military schools, so you know you got a lot of pomp and circumstance. They'll always be, you know, exact to the move and fundamentals and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be fun to see those guys come in here. And then on defense, they'll hit you. You know, they'll run and do all kind of stuff that they got to do to make their defense effective that way. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what we can do with the Citadel when they come in here in 2 weeks.
After we finish the first 3 games, Coach, you were looking at a 2-quarterback system. How will that go and how will that approach be in the Citadel game?
You know what? We may play 2 again. And it appears that we get a little something from both guys. We like the fact that we get an opportunity to, you know, give that little bit of diversity in our attack that way. So we'll see. We won't know for sure until we get there. News at 11. How about that?
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Buddy Pough Show, folks. We hope to see you coming up this Saturday down in Orangeburg when the Bulldogs take on the Bulldogs. Citadel takes on South Carolina State. And, of course, next week, right here on Watch Fox 57 on the Buddy Pough Show.